And I've talked to those people like, those people over there in the Middle East are crazy. I'm like, dude, I just saw you shake a fucking rattlesnake. Wait for it to bite you. Where are you coming from with this, man? Like you're upset that they won't eat bacon or like pork because it's unclean, but you'll shake the shit out of a fucking rattlesnake you just met? Like So this is the second tattoo I ever got. This was supposed to be a geisha when I was being that stereotypical Southern white guy.
Okay, classic.
And then my wife's like, you know that Japanese people used to murder Filipino people, right? And I was like, I didn't. So I never got that finished. And so now I just call her Geisha Voldemort because she ain't got a nose.
You've gone under the needle a lot over there.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, and tell me if this is wrong, like getting tattoos can become like, in a good way, not in a negative way, kind of is like almost addictive, where it's like, oh, you know what? Like, I love this tattoo. I want to get another one, or I want to get another one. Do you find like after this many, you're just like, I'm good?
Well, like for me, it doesn't hurt to get tattoos at all. Like I fall asleep when I get tattoos sometimes. Because the lady that did it, her name is Jenny. She is just amazing. She's got great work. She did this one, took her about 4 hours. I think I was asleep for 2 of it. Because I used to pass kidney stones a lot, so this doesn't really bother me at all. That pain doesn't bother me.
You know, I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, I've heard that passing a kidney stone is harder than, or more painful sometimes than having a child.
Well, I know about one of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
It's when people ask me, what's it like passing a kidney stone? Just imagine there's like a annoying kid that's about right here on your body. It's got like a hammer with a long knife on it, and then just out of nowhere, he's just like, and then he'll just do it every 2 minutes. And when you're about to pass it, it's every second. It's just stabbing in the side.
Jesus.
They're the worst pain you can possibly. It's awful.
And you've passed more than one?
I've passed about 50 to 60.
Are you kidding me?
Yep. The first time I passed it when I was 25, I passed like 6 of them.
That is truly the craziest thing I've ever heard. I've not passed one. It's a great fear of mine.
It's that's the thing about fear. Those things you get into this mindset. Equate this to the idea that this is a 1 in a billion chance that this is going to happen to you. If you live your life by a 1 in billions chance, then you would never go outside because there's a 1 in billion chance that you're going to walk out that door and a plane's going to crash right into your body.
Honestly, with everything going on with Boeing, I feel like it's possible.
You're right. That's like a 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah.
Like for other things, you got to remember that it could happen, but it probably won't. So just live your life.
Well, speaking of living our lives, I want to introduce the tea real fast. For those steeping with us at home, this is Bird & Blend's Piña Colada. Oh. Yeah. It's an herbal tea, so for those steeping at home, steep it boiling for 6+ minutes. You are not a tea drinker. Thoughts?
Delicious.
Is it?
No, it just tastes like hot water.
So you're not getting anything there? You're not getting any fruit aftertaste, nothing? Just water.
Like, how much fruit am I supposed to be tasting? Like, is there supposed to be a fruit party in my mouth, or am I just supposed to be like, hey, they came by for a few minutes?
I would say it should be like, you just got home, and the fruit party had happened, and maybe there's one person still gathering their things, but they've left.
That would make me angry. Like, why the hell are you having a party in my house and without me knowing about it? And who are you people? I don't ever have fruit. I don't usually have fruit. I'm like, I don't know you. What are you, kiwi? Out of my face.
Yeah, kiwi was there. If you put a little honey in here, I think that it probably brings out the fruit taste more. But one of the things I like about tea is it's not super strong.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know?
But I cook for my wife, so I make all these elaborate dishes, and then I won't eat it because it's something that she likes, but I don't like to eat, and I'll eat something very simple.
Hold on. You're making elaborate dishes that you then don't eat.
Mm-hmm. I'll make it because my wife wants it and make her happy.
Can I marry you? I mean, that sounds really lovely. I know you're already married, but depending on the state, you know. Do you ever do? I mean, you are from the South. Are you doing Southern stuff?
Yeah, I used to make Southern breakfast for us every Sunday. I'd like biscuits, gravy, eggs, bacon, sausage, and then I went to a doctor, and he's like, "Stop."
Yeah, stop. So everything you're doing, stop doing all of that.
Yeah, you can't be eating Southern breakfast every Sunday. I was like, who says that? And we were like, your heart, kidneys, liver, I mean, a lot of them are screaming like, "Hey, you need to stop, or we're going to stop for you."
Oh my God. I feel like it's hard being from the South because all the food is so amazing, but inherently a lot of it's not good for you.
Yeah, and there's deep fried Twinkies, Oreos, and that's just like normal stuff. That's not even the state fair stuff. That's like Thursday afternoon things you can get.
Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, if you want to go, you want to go get some deep fried Oreos. I mean, just do you, buddy.
I'm surprised. I know because we were talking a while ago about churches, and I'm surprised that like Southern churches, instead of doing like the wafer and the wine, they're not like, have a deep fried wafer.
We don't have wafers or wine. Well, we have juice and crackers. And
sure,
Southern
but I
Baptist.
mean, like, I would think it'd be more fun.
Well, so for Southern churches, Southern Baptist churches, after church, a lot of them will have like a big old like Southern fucking like afternoon meal, like usually after church, and you're supposed to have like a communion of congregation speaking. So everybody will bring a really good dish or like get food afterwards and bring it back, and then it's like 40 plates of food, and everybody in the congregation's at fellowship and talking to each other. That's how we get to know each other in our community. But that was years ago. I don't do that anymore because I hate people.
I would think though, like I think that aspect of religion is the one that would make me want to be religious, where people are like, oh, you get to gather with a bunch of people and like have good food, blah, blah. And then when they get to the other stuff where they're like, okay, now we're all gonna, we were talking earlier about snake churches, like, oh, now we're all gonna, take a venomous snake. I'm like, less interested in that part.
Yeah. And should we just say so we recorded the episode already?
Oh yeah. We can tell everyone that this is the second time through.
Yes.
We recorded this already. The audio didn't work. So what you're gonna get is we'll tread through some of those topics again.
The great thing is we got at 56 minutes into this podcast, we were talking about the most deep things that we could possibly talk about.
Oh yeah.
And then one of the best things, like, hey. We gotta start again. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And we're gonna start again, and that's completely okay. Just know that if we say something a little bit more articulate this time, it's because we've had a chance to try it again.
I was gonna say, so we did a full run through. You have your script memorized, right? I memorized mine. Yeah. Talk to me about the snake churches.
So I went to a snake church. Was originally a video I saw on YouTube. It was hilarious. It was about a church. I don't remember where it was at. It was deep south. It was a preacher, an older man. He got up. He was shaking snakes, and they believe that if you get bit by a snake, you committed a sin against God. So it could be any kind of sin. They believe that if you're shaking the snake, it can sense, or it knows that you've sinned, and it will bite you because it's like, well, I got you, because snake was the original thing of sin. And they believe there's one verse in the Bible that snake knows what's going on, and it bites you. And a lot of them don't seek medical help immediately or at all, and they think that the venom will go through their body because God wants them to live, so God won't let them die because He has more work for them to do. And I saw that, and I was like, okay, all right, I got everything you guys now, so I'm going to stick to you. I'll stick with this. Now I know what you guys believe. Let's see what you got. And then one guy got bit, it was a preacher, right in the head. You saw blood coming out of his head, and he refused to get help, and he died. And the fact that his son saw this traumatic event, and then still became the preacher the next week with the same snake. Like, the snake's gonna be like, hey, I'm so sorry about your dad, but he kind of deserved it, right? Like, and I've been to 3 other snake churches since then: Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia. And every time, no one's ever stopped me like, what are you doing here? I'm just like, what's up, brother or sister? I'm supposed to be here. Praise God. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, he's supposed to be here, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, hurtful. But, and in my joke, I get into it more. I'm like, where do you even get venomous snakes down in like the deep South Tennessee? And then I saw it, and it was so amazing. It's just a bunch of fat, tall guys that look just like me, talk just like me, just flipping over rocks like, hey, we got one over here, Cletus. And they picked up like a venomous rattlesnake. I'm like, yeah, that tracks. I mean, they ain't going to the PetSmart and like, hey, can you give me a bunch of venomous snakes? Why? I'm going to shake the show and see if they know if I did anything wrong. And they're like,
to
we
this
gotta get
day,
you checked out, man.
To this day, when people get bit at these churches, do they still not immediately get?
Sometimes, yeah. That's what I love about certain religions. Like you see, when people look out from religions out from the outside in, it's sometimes they'll do the craziest thing. And I've talked to those people over there in the Middle East are crazy. I'm like, dude, I just saw you shake a fucking rattlesnake and wait for it to bite you. Where are you coming from with this, man? Like you're upset that they won't eat bacon or like pork because it's unclean, but you'll shake the shit out of a fucking rattlesnake you just met. Like, you want to have a good talk with that thing before you do any of that?
I just love that you've gone multiple times to different churches. Like, I love that you find this so entertaining.
Yeah, I find it. I find a lot of aspects of people interesting because I love learning about other things that are something I've never heard about, because you get open to this world of knowledge and understanding that you never could have possibly had before. And then you see point of views from people that you're never going to look at someone in Kentucky and be like, I wonder what they're thinking. When I think about that, I'm like, what do you think? What's your religion, and why do you believe it so intensely that you're fine with getting bit and possibly dying? Like, these people die for their beliefs, and in their head they're like, well, this is what I want. This is what God wants for me. And I'll never say, well, I don't think that's right to them, because if someone believes something that intensely, nothing I say is going to sway them.
Sure.
No amount of logic, reasoning, or anything, and that's okay. That's what they believe. It's just like I've said before, as long as what you believe in doesn't hurt anybody, doesn't put anybody in danger, or doesn't come after me or what I believe, you can believe it. I don't care. I don't care what you do. Just don't hurt other people. That's all.
Well, so given that, I mean, how did you fall out of religion? It sounds like there wasn't one particular person that said, why do you believe in all this? Because then to your point, it's tough to get someone out of it by just saying what you believe it isn't right. What made you fall out of it?
For me, because I was raised deep in the church my whole life, and when I got 18 and I left my house, I went up to Michigan, lived with my dad for a year. Then I left and I started meeting other people that weren't. I left North Carolina. That was the thing. I met other people with other cultures, other different points of views. And then I saw all those things that I thought about before. I was like, that you're not like that at all. You're not like that closed-minded belief that I had before that didn't make any sense. That I always questioned. You just proved to me that those beliefs don't mean anything. They're not true. Nothing about what I believed in most of my life is true anymore. So then I started looking into what's real, what's reality, what's science, what's all this, and then I just started realizing this can't make sense. This can't be real if this is true. And then I just started talking to people that had other beliefs. I'm like, well, my beliefs can't be true if your beliefs are wrong. So who's right? And I was like, well, honestly, I don't really care as long as I'm happy and I'm nice to people. I mean, why does it matter?
I wish the world felt that way. Did that apply? Were there any things that you kind of believed in when you were younger, not religiously speaking? Like, you and I briefly touched on conspiracy theories. Did you believe in any ever?
Oh, yeah. I remember believing all that stupid shit.
Which one?
I mean, what's not? What anything that you could think of, people were like, yeah, JFK was fake. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's obviously still alive, obviously. And then I looked at it, I was like, how?
How about the moon landing?
Moon landing, yeah, I thought it was fake for a while.
Really?
Yeah. Because I listened to people around me.
Yeah.
When you're young, all you hear about are the people around you. You don't have a chance to go out and talk to others that have a different belief, because most of the time you're around people that have the same belief as your family or the people around you. So if you're always told the same thing around the people that are around you, you'll never seek knowledge outside that. You'll never seek differing knowledge, because why would you? Why would I want to meet someone else that believes the exact opposite of what I believe in, when I have people around me that love me, that show love in their way, that believe this, that community that you have? Why would I leave that and go to somewhere else when I have all that right there? That's basically what the South is.
I wonder, with a family that is steeped in those beliefs like yours, how much they loved when the first time they heard you ever do comedy.
They weren't fans. Weren't fans of, I remember, like, I don't know why I did this, but I did comedy. I did stand up the night before my wedding, my actual wedding, and my dad came there, and I completely redid my set. I did all my set off the top of my head, because I didn't want him to be disappointed in my stand up. And then I realized I don't think he's ever going to watch my stand-up again. So then I stopped caring because, I'll say stuff on stage that's not true or out of pocket or weird. But then I'm like, well, that's just what my point of view is, and I think it's funny. I don't give a shit what everybody else thinks.
He can't see the humor in it at all?
Well, I mean, you can't read that well, so I mean, you can't do a lot of things that most people can't. So no, I'm just joking. He's an alcoholic, though. So he was.
I'm sure he.
Dad.
Yeah, you're like, hey, Dad. I'm
I know
sure.
you're not watching this.
Oh, I didn't want to tell you. So I'm sending this out to your friends and family.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, first time they ever see something I've done.
Oh no! You know what? My mom's never seen me do stand up. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me either. I then again, I'm not. I make fun of her on stage, but I haven't done jokes about like. I haven't made incest jokes, which I think is more your bread and butter.
Hell yeah, it is. Honey butter and bread, that shit. I've done my incest jokes all across the country. Germany. I've done Mexico. I've done Spain. And every single time I've done incest, people still love it. They laugh it because they think they know stereotypical Southern people and they know stereotypes about Southern people is incest. And I just love to promote that stereotype sometimes because it's funny.
Oh my God. I hope no one's ever come up to you being like, I was thinking about, and you're like, no, don't, no, I was joking.
I will tell you, some people have come up to me after shows and said some of the most racist, out-of-pocket jokes they can possibly think of. And they think that I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to definitely put that in my stat. Are you kidding me?
Do they do it as like, oh, I've got a good bit for you?
I think a lot of them think that because of my accent and because of the way I carry myself that I believe those terrible things that they think I believe in. Most people believe in the South, and I don't. Like, someone's like, hey, you can't be racist. I don't know colored TV. I was like, but you own it, though. You realize you just said you own it, though, right? Like, that's not – he's like – and he just disappeared in the night. And that was in Fountain Valley, California.
I don't even know where that is.
You know where it's like near Huntington Beach.
I know where that is.
Yeah, I've gone into Huntington Beach. I'm like, I don't think I'm white enough to be here. I've been uncomfortable in Huntington Beach.
I once did a set in Huntington Beach, and I started getting into some more serious material, and it was like a 20-minute set, and it went fine. And then I eventually wrap it, and I got off stage, and one of the Huntington Beach comics goes, "Hey, so I don't really know how to say this any other way. You gotta bring the overall discourse down a notch when you're coming to do Huntington Beach." He goes, "You're talking about the nuances of death, and you talked about car accidents, you talked about therapy." He was like, yeah, you're going to want to – do you have jokes about poop?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And he's like, you may want them. You may want them.
That's the thing. When I go to L.A., I know I need to do kind of nuanced or like real vulnerable jokes, something that they can get behind. And then when I thought about it, I was like, but why? Why can't they laugh at the same shit that people in the South laugh about? Like, I'll do jokes about the Klan. I'll do jokes about OnlyFans. I have an OnlyFans account that I was doing for a while. And I was doing comedy on it.
You were.
I was not.
You were not. You were.
I was doing what people think people do on OnlyFans.
And was it a good...
I got $500 from one dude named Matt.
Oh. Were you involving your wife, or was it solo activity?
She's the one taking pictures.
Okay.
I can't reach back there.
Well, listen, I don't know.
I sent that dude sent me $150, and I sent him a picture of my butthole.
Here's the thing.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
This is a controversial take, but like, I don't really see that terrible of an idea of like, it's your butthole. Who gives a crap?
Thank you. I mean, your butthole. That's
your butthole. That's who gives a crap.
But
yeah.
That pun's been brought to you by stupidity.
Yeah. Did you find being on OnlyFans actually like got you enough regular money where you're like, this is worth it? Or were you like, no?
Honestly, I just did as an experiment. I was on these Facebook groups with people promoting each other's OnlyFans. So I was like, I mean, what do I have to lose? I mean, what no one's going to recognize me. And if anybody does, I'll just say, yeah, we all got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
And I've never been embarrassed of my body. So I was like, I mean, what the hell? One dude, 100%, he's like, can I get a picture back here? And
your back hair?
Yeah. He gave me it's $35. And my wife took the picture. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I had to wake her up. I was like, hey, you need to come and be in the bathroom real quick. I need to make $20 real quick. And she got up, took the picture, sent it to him. He loved it. And then he just kept asking for more.
This is so funny.
Because I don't care. I got to pay my doctor to look at my butthole, but this dude wants to see it and give me money. So, I mean, there's so many perverts online, and I didn't realize how many perverts thought this was like, yep, that's what I want. That.
I do remember I was online. I saw a picture of a butthole, and I immediately said, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I recognized your butthole.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Just, it looks like hair in the little brown spot.
Yeah, no. So that's how I knew. That's how I knew.
It's like a hobbit hole.
I cannot imagine how people are reacting or listening to this. But imagine.
And they were like, that took a really dark turn from the fucking beautiful thing about churches and religion and being okay with people's beliefs. And like, oh, by the way, you want a picture of my butthole? Big hungry bear.
Listen, I think you got to do what you got to do to get what you want. You know what I mean? I do think it's funny because it's like we've talked a little bit about the fact like you make a lot of jokes on stage about your sister having been a stripper or still is. I don't know. I think
she's not anymore.
Not anymore. She was. But now I feel like you can get a better insight and understanding of kind of what that requires after having done OnlyFans. It's not the same thing, but like there are nuances to it where it's like you need to have a comfort with your body. You need to be comfortable with the idea that like someone's gaze upon you is beneficial to them, and like you're out there and to you, you're just like, I'm just making money. Like that's all I'm doing. I don't have an attachment to this. Did you feel like you related to her more?
No,
never.
Because my sister, she was like a stripper, and like people were like, yeah, here's some money, and now it's just some creep online I've never seen in person. I don't know what his face looks like.
You wouldn't want to.
I don't know. I'm curious. I'm just like, what? I just want to know what the guy looked like. That's just like looking at my butthole, like Nathan. Because even a guy was like, I'll send you $2,000 to send me a picture of your wife's feet because my wife was like in the reflection of one picture with my back.
You say $2,000?
Yeah. And I sent him a picture of my feet and said she's having a bad foot day.
Did he give you any money?
Yeah. And he gave me an extra $400, said, hey, go get your wife's feet done on me. And I was like, okay. I got my feet done. Got a little pedicure for myself. It's my first pedicure.
Say again?
It's my first pedicure.
Have you ever got one since?
Fuck no.
Oh, I think they're amazing. You didn't enjoy it?
I was fine with it because it was free.
Oh man, I just got one for me as a gift because I was having a really bad week, and
that's so nice. Baby, you look like you had a hard week. Go get yourself a pedicure on me.
Listen, I know you're kidding. The first time I ever got one, it was with her, and she was like, "Do you want a pedicure?" I'm like, "No," and she's like, "Why not?" I was like, "I don't want someone touching my feet." She's like, "Will you come with me?" I'm like, "Sure." So I went there with her, and the one's like, "Do you want anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." She's like, "Well, you could just look at a menu," and I'm like, "A menu?" And I open it, and I was like, "I don't really want to." I'm sorry, we were in the massage chair. She goes, yeah. And I was like, you massage my legs? She goes, well, one person massages your legs. The other person massages your shoulders. And I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah. And then you get, 2 complimentary glasses of champagne. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And we give you little nibbles and then, and then whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, uh-huh. And she was, and this was in Texas where everything's cheaper. And she was like, oh, I don't remember how much. It was like $60. And I was like, I'm in, man. I'm in. I was like, give me all the champagne, give me the chocolate, give me the massage. I'm in.
Yep.
It was a joy.
Yeah, but you normal people, when you hear that, that's great. But for someone that doesn't drink alcohol ever and does not like to be touched, that sounded like absolute hell to me. Mm-hmm. It's not just one person touching me that I'm already tense about. 3 other people are just like, let's just touch Anthony's body. And I'm just thinking, when is this over?
Now I'm thinking back to when I greeted you and you came over and I gave you a hug. Do you not like being hugged?
Oh, I'm hugged because I know you.
Okay.
But if it's a stranger, why don't I want people touching me?
No, that's true. I don't necessarily love if a stranger's hugging me.
I've gotten 2 massages in my entire life. Both of them were coerced by my wife because she said, please. And I was like, fine. The first time I got a massage, it was in a dark room. It was a Korean massage, really dark room. I bet it was really nice, but I don't like to be touched. And when the guy was massaging my hands, I locked hands with him because I was so nervous. He's just like rubbing. I was like, gotcha. I just silently said, gotcha. And then he's like, sir, don't do that. I'm so sorry. I felt so uncomfortable. I was groaning the whole time because they were really rough.
Oh, yeah, it gets a little hard.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like being...
Did you tell him, like, hey, can you please lighten up?
I don't want to be a bother.
Oh, my God.
That's the southern part of me right there. It's like, I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to bother people. So I just sat there, I took it, I groaned, and my wife afterwards was like, you hated that. I was like, I want to die right now.
Was this part of like an anniversary or a birthday?
No, she just did it. And when we went on a cruise, I bought her a massage too. And she's like, "You gotta come with me." And I was like, "I'd rather not."
Well, okay. Well, I want to finish that conversation, but I want to get to our first segment. Are you ready for the Newly Friend game?
Yeah.
So the first segment is the Newly Friend game. It's like the Newlywed game, but we're friends. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. Don't say it out loud. I'm going to see if I can get your answer. And then we'll flip it over, see if we got it right. And same question for me. I liked what we did last time, but I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, what was, if I had to pick an animal for a religion, what would I pick? Because it was snake churches. I said panda because they're cute and cuddly and everyone loves pandas.
And you offended me by thinking I was going to say bird. Which I would not.
You said 8 letters, and the only thing I know that has 8 letters is a bunch of fucking birds.
Well, we're going to do this one. It's actually going back to something you said early on in this episode. You mentioned on a random Tuesday or Thursday, you could get deep fried anything.
Yeah.
So my question for you, and don't say it out loud, write it down. What is the weirdest thing that you think would still taste good deep fried? 1, 2, 3, flip. You said spider. I said butter.
Tarantula.
You've had deep fried tarantula.
Mm-hmm.
You've eaten it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I have a few bites of the leg. Yeah.
I thought you can make fun of me for this because I don't fully understand. I thought tarantulas have like almost like fiberglass hairs that like that are painful.
I have no idea what they did to it, but it was either a tarantula or it was a big ass spider.
And it was good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Are you just tasting fried batter, or are you actually tasting the spider?
I tasted something. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't fried batter because they're pretty thin. I didn't take the sack, but I took it. So the spiders don't have bones or anything. They just have skeletons that they have like their outer body, and it's just filled with fluid. So when they die, that's why their legs scrunch up because there's nothing there anymore.
This is terrifying. Go on.
Yeah. So I basically just scrunched up little balls, and then I was like, okay. And I deep fried it. They deep fried it in front of me. I was like, well, why not? I mean, I've tried crickets, tried everything else. If they like it, why? There's got to be something to it. So I tried it, and I took a bite, and I was like, this is pretty good. I mean, I won't have it again, but I liked it.
I think that's insane. I wrote down butter because I've heard rumors that I've never seen it, but
I've seen it and I've had it. It's not bad.
How do you deep fry butter? Wouldn't it just melt?
It's cold. It's frozen butter.
And then it can withstand the frying process.
Yeah, it's horrible, but I've had it.
It
doesn't taste good. If you've had deep fried butter and you like it, get help. You probably don't need me to say that because you're probably in the hospital dying from eating that. So, whatever. I hope you live a good life because you're probably going to die. I mean, it's just lard. It's just straight up lard. It's deep fried lard. It doesn't taste good. I mean, you take a bite. You wouldn't eat butter not deep fried. Why would you eat it fried?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, I can say the same thing about tarantulas.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna eat it.
Well, hold on. We'll do the same question for me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But a slightly different version of it. Instead of saying what's the weirdest thing that you could fry, I'm gonna do for me. What's the weirdest thing fried that I've had? And I'll tell you right now. I don't think this is too much of a hint. I've been to a couple of state fairs in the Midwest. So keep that in mind. 1, 2, 3, flip. You said Twinkies and turkey leg. Well, I've had both of those. But I wrote down alligator.
I like how you put alligator twice.
I did.
Because remember the last time you thought my animal was going to be alligator.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I've had deep fried alligator.
It's not bad.
I'm going to tell you something. Pretty good.
Tastes like chicken.
Pretty good.
Like kind of like rubbery chicken.
I actually enjoyed it. And the other one I had was deep fried Reese's. It melted a lot. It just got really messy. I was not super crazy about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's got a really creamy middle, it needs to be cold. It needs to be frozen so that when you heat it up, because it's already you're not trying to fry the cookie. You're trying to just get that batter fried taste to it. So if you're gonna cook something like a Twinkie or anything, I would always freeze it and then batter it and then deep fry it. So while the inside's heating up, the outside's fried up, nice golden brown, and then by that time the inside's heating up nice, but it's not too cooked.
Should we just abandon the podcast and start frying some stuff?
Yeah, that's right.
The one thing we didn't talk about, we talked about this off. We didn't even talk about this on the first episode. We talked about it off the mic. Was the cybersecurity stuff. And I was asking you about accessing the dark web. Because here's the thing, you hear a lot of stories, by the way, about people who are like go to hire a hitman on the dark web. It's almost never really a hitman. From what I've heard, there's really no hitman for service. Hitman
It's
for
really
hire.
not that easy to get to the dark web as people think it is. Unless you know the exact site, the exact path to get there, because there's like I said, there's not like a hey I love kids.com. There's like
I think that might be a really uplifting page.
Yeah, buypeople.org. It's not like that. It's like
That's an org.
Yeah, right, exactly. Organization. And it's
That's
not
so
like that. It's
funny.
not like you have to go on Tor, Onion. You got to go through different VPN hops.
Yeah.
You'll try like Tor will do 21 hops so they can't find it. 21 hops to different IPs each time. Yeah, you're slowing down your speed, but it's anonymous. And that's how they do it. But you'll see people in governments that are using their government email addresses, and that's how we find them, because they're hiding their tracks, but they didn't hide them good enough. They're using their public email addresses that you can find on the dark web now. I mean, and people think, oh, the dark web is just nothing, but I will be honest, do not go to the dark web. It's not. You're not going to find something that's good. You're not going to find something that's going to make your life better. You're going to find the real side of humanity, and it's not good.
You mentioned you got your master's in cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
What? Not that comedians always have a strong overlap between what they do and comedy. In fact, I would argue a lot of times they don't overlap. But what attracted you? Like, is there something in your background, in your history, in your journey that made you go, cybersecurity is what I want to do?
I've always liked helping people. I've always wanted to make people feel safe and make people feel happy, and being able to live their life without having to worry about being like scammed or being taken advantage of. And I always like making people laugh and making people happy with stand-up. So the logical thing for me was like, well, see, cybersecurity is becoming bigger and bigger, and cybercrime is becoming so much easier to do. Like, if I wanted to hack a system, I don't even need to learn how to code. All I need to do is go to a broker site, pay $800 for the script, they download it to you, and then you run it on the company. I don't even need to know how to run it. I just need to know how to click start. So $800 out of my pocket, and I'll be able to hack a company if I need to.
That is it's like terrifying, but it's also so fascinating. And I also started thinking, if I had that power, what could I possibly want to use it for? Kind of nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's why I give lectures to people. Like, I gave lectures to my company in Germany, and I got almost all of their passwords and their MFAs, and I was able to bypass it just because someone scanned a QR code for free ice cream.
Oh, that would have gotten me. I love free ice cream.
Yeah, all I had to do was put their username and password in, and I got it. And I showed their passwords on the screen. I was like, sir, this is your username, this is your password, and this is your MFA token. I'm on your email right now. And I had to reset all their passwords. They all were all pissed off at me. And I was like, this is how easy it was. It took me 8 seconds to do it. Me and my coworker, we did in like 8 seconds. It's a harsh reality. You have to realize when you open that Pandora's box, you're not going to Pandora's box. Once you go to Panera and open that box.
Antonio Banderas' box.
Yeah. Once you open up Antonio Banderas' sweet-ass box.
Yeah.
You can't close that. Once you get knowledge, like, that's the thing I always think about knowledge, is like those that search for knowledge will find it and will have to live with it. And you can't unlearn it. Those who seek with knowledge will always be burdened with it because you understand it now. Like, you can take down a company like MGM, Las Vegas. They got taken down. They have some of the best security. They put hundreds of millions of dollars into their security infrastructure. They were taken down by a dude that called into their service desk, said, "Hey, I'm Mike. I work downstairs. Can you reset my password?" They're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Here you go, man." He's like, "Okay." And he got on, and then he just logged on, and they took down their network. That's all you need to do. That's literally, I get paid to do that. I get paid to go into people's businesses and go from the outside to their data center, and I've never done it where I haven't been able to do it in less than 20 minutes.
This is
terrifying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is weird because I remember when we were talking downstairs, you were asking me a bunch of questions, and then you were like, and what's your social security number? And then I told you, and then I also gave you my credit card numbers and my password. I thought we were just casually talking.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Don't answer. If you get calls from scammers, do not answer it. Once you answer it, you're put into a database, and now that phone number is active. If you don't answer, don't ever pick it up. They'll think it's a dead number after a certain amount of times, and then they will stop calling you.
Oh, well, so how do I've already made the mistake of answering because I used to find it entertaining. So
you have to deal with it now.
Okay, forever.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's really...
If they start calling back, don't answer. Just keep not answering it. Don't ever answer it. Don't ever.
Where were you 10 years ago when I needed this information?
10 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. I've only been in security for like 4 or 5 years.
Because if I recall correctly, this is not a hard pivot, but I'm just trying to do timelines here. Your special came out, was that your first special that came out in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
So that is 4 years ago. So right when you were getting into cybersecurity is when you released your special?
I released my special in January, and then the pandemic happened, and I was still working a service desk job, and I was like, I was going to stop doing that and do comedy full time. And then the pandemic happened, and I lost so many gigs, $70,000 worth of gigs.
Holy hell.
Clubs that put me on the rotation shut down, didn't open back up, and I lost so many gigs. And then I was like, I can't rely on comedy anymore. I need something more. So April 1st, I went back to school. I told my wife, I need to better myself. I can't just be stagnant. I want to be able to support us one day, because I wasn't making a lot of money. I was making scraps, and I wanted to be able to support us, and I wanted to be able to hold my head high and say, I can help, I can take care of things. So I went back, got my bachelor's in like 2 years, and I got my master's in like 45 days.
Hold on. You got your master's in 45 days?
Mm-hmm. Yep, WGU. It's an accelerated program. They let you have access to the classes. If you pass them, you can keep going. I had like 12 classes in my master's degree, and I just attacked them, and I got done in like 45 days.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Holy
shit. And then when you started going back into comedy, was there any part of you that was like, I don't even know if I need to go back into comedy?
I think at that time it's given me a lot more peace now, because back then it was like I have to do comedy, I have to post every day, I have to be relevant, or I'm gonna just disappear into obscurity. But now it's like I'm doing comedy because I want to. I love to make people laugh, and it's a good experience for me and my wife to be doing together. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love comedy. I just don't. It's not that thing where it used to be like, I need this to be my job, I need this to be my livelihood. Now it's, I love comedy, and I just like to make people laugh when I want to. And it makes the drives there much better, because I'm like, I don't need to do this. I'm doing this because I want to.
Yeah.
And it's not that need of like, well, if I don't get on stage, I'm going to go crazy. It's like, I'm happy. I've gotten myself adjusted. I've talked to people. Now I can just do it because I want to.
I mean, that feels like as good a time as any to get to our final segment. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Mm-hmm.
This is the lightning round. It's 5 fast questions. It does not at all have to be fast answers. It's the last 5 questions we end every episode with. I'm so excited that we're getting here for the first time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been build up, baby. It's been build up. All right. So, question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So, for example, I love brewing tea every morning. That's a ritual I like.
I don't know if it's a ritual, but I do this every morning. I get up 2 hours before my wife. I get up at like 4:30 to 5 every morning. I get up. I take care of everything in the house. Like I feed the animals. I get outside. I sit outside. We have a patio that overlooks our area. I sit out there, and I sit out there for a few minutes and just kind of collect my thoughts and collect everything for the day. Then I'll do dishes or do everything, and then by the time my wife wakes up, everything's ready for her to start her day. And I've had my time alone where I can just do everything, get everything done, and then I have peace in myself too. So it's a good way to start peace in the day.
I mean, that's an incredible way to start the day.
And then since we both work from home, if people work from home, let's try this too. If you smoke weed, because I do every day, we'll go out on the deck. It's like we're leaving our jobs. We're leaving the office. We go out there, we smoke, and then we talk about each other's day. And we don't talk about anything else about, it was like, hey, how was your day? What happened in your day? And then we get done smoking, we come back inside, and that's like we're coming home from work. and then we'd completely disassociate from work. So we're like, we're home. We ain't got to talk about work no more.
I love that. Those are rituals, and those are wonderful rituals. Rituals that, in my opinion, I think more of us should probably adopt. Okay, question 2. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
My wife, I don't know why my wife loves to do this, but it's not so much a bit. It's just something that she loves to do. Anytime I'm in a meeting, she'll shoot me with a Nerf gun. She's gotten so good at it, honey. Fuck you. But she'll be on the other side of our condo with a Nerf sniper rifle, which I don't know why I got her this. It was stupid.
I don't either.
But she shot me right here, right in my Adam's apple from like across it, and I went. And my boss is like, "Hey, you okay?" And all I heard in the background was like, "Yes, fucking nailed you." And I was like, I put on boss. I was like, I'm in a meeting with my boss and the CEO. She's like, "Well, I bet they heard him. You go." Oh.
They don't see it hit your neck?
No, I did. It wasn't on camera. I don't do any cameras. I don't like to be on camera in my room. And all I heard was like, "Yeah." So if you look at the projections, you can see that this month with email production. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had something happen in my throat, and I'm a boss. He's like, "Yeah, I heard your wife in the background go, yeah." It's just like she loves to do it. Like if you're ever having a bad day, like having a bad day, you had like a really bad fight or like a really weird fight, get Nerf guns and just have a Nerf gun fight.
I'm gonna use that at home. Yeah. I'm gonna try, see if she goes for it. All right, question 3, going in a different direction. What is a very controversial opinion that you have?
I don't like tea. I don't like sweet tea. I don't like any kind of tea. I don't like a lot of Southern things that people. I don't like pickup trucks that much. The most Southern thing about me is what my diet is. But outside that, you know, I've worked in fields. I've worked at dairy. I've worked at a dairy farm. I've done all these Southern things, but I really don't like tea. I really don't like sweet tea at all.
You like country music?
Not at all. I don't really won't care about how good your pickup truck is and you going down the creek
with a sixer.
People that are like, if you like to camp, if you really like to camp, you're a sociopath to me.
I won't camp.
I used to have to shit in an outhouse because we didn't have running water when I was visiting my grandmother in Virginia. She didn't have running water. We had to like wash ourselves from a bucket, and people are like, I would just love to experience that. No, you fucking wouldn't. No, I love technology. You should love if people that like the last generation, we had it so much better. No, you didn't. You didn't have the internet. And people are like, oh, kids nowadays are so much dumber. There's yes and no to that. Yes, because you have literally in this phone right here, you have access to all information that's ever been recorded ever. But you don't use it. That's dumb. Sometimes that's dumb. And, honestly, if you want to go out and experience the wilderness yourself, go ahead. But if someone's like, oh, you must love camping, I don't.
I hate camping. So
Good.
I'm 100% with you.
People are like, let's go glamping. I'm like, that's not camping there. You're just going to a place that's a little bit closer outside.
Oh, so my version of glamping is just going to a hotel. That's
glamping.
Yeah. That's to me. I'm like
still indoors.
Yeah. I want to be fully indoors. I want to have a bed, a TV. So I guess I just don't want to camp at all. That's where I'm
because it's not like if you're in like an area where you're safe and there's like if there's chance that you're going to have internet, that's not camping. Camping is you take a tent out to a place that you've never been before. You stick it in the ground, and you don't use anything but what you have around you to survive.
Pass.
Thank you. I will pass on that any day. Give me a cheeseburger with some fucking Wi-Fi on top of it.
Yeah, I want Wi-Fi in my burgers.
Hell yeah. I want that to connect to my tummy and tell me, oh, you're full. Stop it.
That would I know you're kidding, but that would be an incredible thing. For me to have.
5 years from now, Elon Musk is like, today we've discovered the cheeseburger implant.
Yeah, I would eat it. Question 4, have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one moment that really sticks out to you?
Actually, that's crazy. Like in my field of cybersecurity, it's extremely common to have imposter syndrome.
Because you don't feel like you are like worthy of the position that you hold?
Yeah. It's insane. Like even my coworker that has been doing this for 12 plus years. So I think one of the smartest people, even my boss, some of the smartest people I've ever met. They can talk about stuff, but they've been doing it for 15 years. I have a master's degree, but I've only been doing it for 2 years. They'll say some stuff that I can follow, but I'm like, yeah, that's how you did it. Holy shit. And like, it's even though I know I'm supposed to be there, it's like, should I be here?
Yeah.
Am I actually the person that should be here? Because there's so many people that I think that could be better in this role or have a different outlook. Should it be me here or should it be someone that's more qualified? And you always think about that, but you have to realize that you are there because they think that you're a good fit and that you'd be a good fit with your skills. So you're there for a reason. You got hired on.
Yeah.
If someone's not, unless someone's like, hey, you're terrible at this job, we're about to fire you. I mean, they let you there. If you mess up, everyone's a person. You're going to mess up. I've messed up. I know I've messed up, and it caused a major incident. It wasn't major where we lost $1,000, but it was something that we had to take time to fix. And I apologize. And afterwards, my boss is like, if you would have gone 2 years without making a mistake, I would think that you weren't doing your job. Because
that's a great boss.
We analyze threats. If we see something that gets through because we analyzed it, but it was good, that means that we see something that we should fix next time so we don't get attacked by it again.
I mean, that's a great answer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know why I have some like deep philosophical answers for everything that's supposed to be like, I don't know, sometime.
No. These are
I
all
like
great.
Pecans. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
that answer may work for the next question. I like pecans. By the way, I call them pecans. But but for the next question is literally the final question of the whole pod. I typically say, "What's your favorite tea?" But I know you don't drink tea. So, what's your favorite comfort? I swear to God, if it's pecans, I'm gonna lose it.
pecans. No.
Pecan pie.
For me, this is gonna be so stupid, but it's my wife.
Oh, it's actually really sweet.
Well, the weird thing is because when I started talking to a therapist again, like I love to tell this to people because it's something that people might have to deal with and that I have to deal with. I can't read people's emotions unless they're very obvious about it. So if someone's like, "Oh my God," I'm like, "Okay, you're happy." That's why I like comedy, because when people laugh, they're happy. You can't like like you can't angrily laugh at something. You know what I mean? Like I can't read emotions very well. And when I told my wife that, she was so accepting of that. Whenever I see her smile or whatever, I'm on stage and I just see her out in there, there's that comfort I find that's no matter what happens right now, when I get back in that room, I want to be greeted with love, just understanding, and a place of peace that I'm not going to get anywhere else that brings me just a level of comfort.
That's probably the sweetest answer we've ever gotten to that question.
Oh, I love that woman with a fiery intensity. When she actually moved across country. She was going to either go to Delaware or California. And I knew if I said California, I'd lose her. I said, you don't want to go to Delaware. You want to go to California. You've always want to live there. I think you should move there. I think we'll try to make it work. And I moved out there March 5th, 2016. I married her like 2 months later.
Well, it sounds like you made the right choice. No. Okay, you know
no,
what?
I'm joking. All that build up, I'm like,
yeah.
No. And we got. By the way, we're getting divorced.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. So, yeah. Listen, man, you have now made it through the pod twice. You're one of the few, one of the only. How do you feel?
Good.
The
only thing I just work because I've never been. This is like the most open I've been on a podcast before.
I think it was amazing.
That's the tea.
The tea spiked. Well, you know what? If you want to come back for a third time, let me know.
That's great. The third time, I just do everything completely opposite. So yeah, judge people by their looks.
Yeah, sure.
Just so they're like, I don't know which one to post. If I'm honest, it's kind of weird.
Listen, if we can somehow save the first one, I'm posting them both.
That was Anthony Davis. You can find him on Instagram and TikTok at ADComedy28. This episode was produced by Jude Crowner. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.
You never know what your new favorite dish is unless you try something new.
I once had jellyfish tentacles, and it was shockingly not bad. I had it with chili paste.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah.